Guys, it is finally time. We now have our first look at the Super Mario Brothers movie, as we get the first look, I guess, of the poster of what the movie is going to kind of look like and feel like. And I can tell you right now off the bat, this looks phenomenal. It looks like a fever dream of a Mario game I've always wanted. It's so colorful, vibrant, packed of details, and there's so much stuff to unpack. So today, I'm going to try to unpack everything I possibly can for you guys within this picture, because there's a lot of little hidden details that a lot of people probably didn't notice right away. But before we dive into that, I want to talk about the fact that we are getting a full-blown Nintendo Direct for this movie this Thursday at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time, which is a strange time, but it's going to be pretty much just a movie direct. They already announced that there's going to be no games here or anything else, just focused on this Mario movie, which is just the craziest of times that we're in right now. We're getting Nintendo Directs focused on a Mario movie. This is awesome. But without further ado, let's kind of dive into this picture and talk about all the little minute details that they've shown off here. Making our way from the very bottom of the picture to the very top, starting off with, of course, our hero Mario. You can see individual hairs on him and even every single bit of stitching within his overalls, his gloves, everything. He's extremely detailed. Even his hat has a stitching line. And Mario has no butt. Seriously, even Toad in the back is kind of scared. But in all seriousness, of course, this is Mario. We don't get to see his face yet, but, you know, I'm expecting him to look pretty good because right now his design looks really good for this movie. Okay, now let's move on to the left a little bit with some of these Toads by the market. Toad by the antique shop is apparently giving Mario a tour, and as you can tell, he has a lot of stuff on his bag, almost referencing Captain Toad. Yeah, I think this is a big reference to that, as he has rope and everything he needs as if he's going camping or mountain climbing, and it's pretty much what was filled in Captain Toad's bag. Inside the antique tent seems to be full of, antiques from Mario's past games, and it looks like it's a big reference to Super Mario Bros. 3. You have the chest from the bonus rooms, the P-switches, and even the music boxes. Looks like a whole bunch of other 8-bit sprites of something like maybe a green key or something. It's hard to make out from this angle, but also behind the antique stand, we get to see a green Yoshi egg. You then get to see some of the shops beside the antique shop, and one has a barrel hanging from the sign with a giant POW block, and it looks like it might be some type of bank, as you can see like a bag with maybe a star on it, kind of referencing a bag of money or something, like a bag of coins, and then the store beside it is some type of bakery with a pie on it, and on the sign you get to see like a muffin and a croissant, so it's probably just a bakery. To the right, we get to see some Bitty Buds from Mario 3D Land and 3D World respectively, so it's cool to see them return from a game that's not necessarily extreme hardcore Mario line, so I definitely expect Goombas, if anything, to walk through here. I guess that's technically more Bowser Army, so we'll see them later. But then we have some Toads holding some things. The yellow Toad's holding some coins, and the purple/pink one is holding a bag with a Cheep Cheep in it. Yeah, it's like a fish in a bag at a carnival, but it's a giant Cheep Cheep. That poor fish. Now, the shop to the right is some type of fruit stand, and you can even see turnips from Super Mario Bros. 2 there, but I believe it's actually referencing Yoshi's Story, and the fruit actually look just like the fruit from Yoshi's Story, at least on the sign, which is a really neat reference. The shop in the back looks like some type of aquarium, or maybe pet store where you can buy these fish, or these Cheep Cheep in a bag, which is just still so weird to me. There's pictures of Cheep Cheep, Spiny Cheep Cheep, you even have Gelectro from Mario Bros. 3, and it looks like you can even purchase an urchin, which is weird as well. I don't know why you'd want an urchin in a little plastic bag, but I don't know what else other sea creatures is on this sign. You could probably tell there's at least one more behind this sign that's covering it. I'm gonna guess like probably a blooper or something like that, but yeah, that's a pretty cool touch as well. Looking back up real quick, the sign to this building to the right has once again a Mario Bros. 3 chest on it. Before we move on to all the chaos in the middle of the screen with all the Toad houses and hills and everything, let's talk about this antique shop and some buildings behind it real quick. The antique shop is held by a sign, which is very interesting. The sign looks like it could be like kind of a upside down and reversed end of the level for Mario Brothers, where you run up the stairs in order to reach the flagpole. It's just kind of flipped upside down and reversed. And it also could maybe be a reference to the NES Zapper, which also looks like it could be a little handheld gun. The actual antique sign hanging from this is actually a hammer that Mario uses. Now, I don't know if it's referencing the little hammer item from Mario Maker 2, or if it could be referencing even the hammer ability from Mario Bros. 3, because it seems like Mario Bros. 3 has a big focus within this movie, which is pretty interesting because Miyamoto's favorite Mario game is Super Mario World. But we also have the house in the back, and it has kind of stairs going up along the side. They're just some simple Mario bricks. Now the fun part, we have all of this, which by the way is beautifully detailed. I mean, seriously, Illumination did a magnificent job making this come to real life. But obviously, the first thing this reminds me of, and I think it reminds most people of, is the Super Nintendo World theme park. There are tons of hills and platforms that go all the way up the mountain, and of course there's different colored blocks like there is in Mario Bros. 3, and a big reference to Mario 3D Land and Mario 3D World with the colored blocks as well. Well, how do they make it up these hills? Well, there's the fact that there are pipes in the Mario universe, don't forget, and they are really going in on this pipe thing. There are multiple different colored pipes that lead to multiple different sections and houses all the way up this giant hill, which is very interesting. It's funny because you can still see floating platforms and also coins floating in the sky as if this is still, you know, kind of referencing a video game. And you can just see so many little details with the floating islands and stuff. It looks like we can literally go up there in a game. This looks amazing. And it shows that just because this is a Mario movie, it's not going to lose its touch for what it is. It's a video game at heart, and it still kind of contains that, and I love it. Something else I wanted to mention real quick before we go to the top of the hill is that the hills are designed the same way they are in the video games. They have those kind of zigzag stripes going across them, and it's just really detailed, and it's just like the background of all the Mario Brothers titles, which I really love that as well. Now we move on to Princess Peach's castle, and don't worry, there's still stuff to talk about in the sky after this, but Peach's castle seems to not really be designed after one specific castle that we've seen so far, but it definitely takes inspiration from stuff in the past. To me, this looks the closest to Super Mario Odyssey, as if they took Mario Odyssey's castle, put it on a hill, and colored it pink. Honestly, it's actually very, very close. You have the tall center pillar, which is kind of the main central point of it, with the Peach mural in the middle, just like in Mario 64, and you also have the cone towers on the outsides, probably forming a solid square. The banners on the top outside the front gate that also match up with that of Mario Odyssey. Of course, you have the flags at the end of each tower. It truly is a Mario Odyssey recreation, but in a new style. I really do like this style, however, because I do feel like Peach's castle needs to go back to being pink. I don't know, I kind of like it. Some games we see it pink, some games we see it red. It is what it is, but pink just kind of matches Peach in my opinion. We have Mario Bros. 3, 2, 1 references. We have references for 3D Land, 3D World, and even Super Mario Odyssey. Where is the 64 references? Well, besides the Peach mural, we have this floating island with the same exact cannon from Mario 64. I don't know if this is just here as a reference or if there's going to actually be some Mario 64 references and stuff, but this is definitely a huge one, and I'm not really sure why they would want a cannon up there. Is Mario going to be able to use cannons and fly up to different islands in this movie? What's going to be happening? Then if we look to the right side of the castle in the air, we see a flying question block once again from the Mario Brothers games, including the new Super Mario Brothers games and Super Mario Brothers 3. And then you have these other floating islands with waterfalls pouring off of them as well. Something's pouring water. I don't know if it's just another tiny island at the top or some type of cannon or bucket or something. Really don't know what that is, but yeah, just another tiny island with mushrooms and waterfalls. That's all I could find right now. I'm sure people are going to dive even deeper and find even more things, but man, even this poster is so amazingly detailed. I can already expect this movie to have Easter eggs all around. To the fact that we're going to have to rewatch it like 100 times to find everything, I can't wait. And the trailer is just 2 days away, probably full of even more secrets and Easter eggs, so if you want to make sure that you catch every secret and hidden detail within that trailer, make sure you leave a like and subscribe and turn on post notifications to stay up to date on all things Mario movie and all things Nintendo in general. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like always, I'll see you all in the next one. See you guys.